Hi, how's it going? Welcome back to SuperCard Models. I'm Matt and I'm working on my R34 GTR build today. I'm going to continue doing a bit more work on this hood. If you didn't see the last video, I kind of put this first version of the hood together and I'm really not happy with the shape. This isn't right through here and it's really bugging me. So what I'm going to have to do, make a change to the shape of some of the parts and kind of remake some of the parts and refit them. I think maybe the main problem is the center ridge that runs down the center of the hood under this panel. I made that sit a little bit higher so that I could try and get a bit of shape this way kind of through the hood, but because it makes this panel a compound curve, it just doesn't want to sit right because it's made of cardboard, obviously. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is adjust the height of that center ridge, make it the same height, mostly the same height actually as the outer ridge line pieces that run down either side here. And that way there'll be less curvature this way as well, and hopefully that will make that panel sit better. Unfortunately, what that means is I'm going to have to carefully remove this panel first and probably the center ridgeline piece that runs down underneath it, which as you know, I never like doing because it's kind of undoing work that I've already done and it's messing with other parts of the build potentially that, you know, I'm happy with, but you know, it's got to be done. So let's start with taking that part off and the center ridgeline part out, and yeah, we'll make some new parts, get them fitted, and see if that helps. Damn, that was a fail. I thought I could just remove a couple of the parts that I was going to update, just reuse and keep all the others, but they're all kind of ruined. I didn't realize I glued them all together so well. That's okay, I'll cut a new set of parts. Okay, so I've just spent some time cutting a new set of parts. Well, these are the parts that were existing that were okay and didn't need any changes anyway. But these are ready to be glued together now. I'll glue those together and fit them onto the car. And then after that, once I've done that, I can start making adjustments to 3 of the parts that do need to be changed in order to give the kind of the new design that I'm thinking about. So I'll glue these together, get them on the car, and then we'll go from there. Awesome, so I'm finally back at the point now where I can start making some new parts or some adjusted parts. And I'll probably start with this structural piece that runs down the center of the hood. As I said before, that just needs to be kind of a bit lower to match the profile of these 2 parts here. I'll probably just make it kick up or like rise up slightly at the back, maybe slightly at the front. But what I'm trying to do is minimize the amount of kind of horizontal curve that this piece that I'll put on the outside will eventually have. So yeah, we'll get into Illustrator, start drawing up a new version of this piece here and cut that out and fit it. Good, so there's that new version of the center structural piece in place, and that's looking good for now. Kind of tweaked that profile, as I said, so it's kind of sitting lower, about the same height as these parts now. Good. Next thing to do is to adjust and print out and make a new version of this little kind of brace piece that sits at the front edge of the hood, because obviously the size and the position of this leading edge has changed now, so this old plan is no longer quite right. So I'll adjust this and make a new one, and I'll fit that. Good, so there's that new leading edge structural brace piece done and on, and that looks really, really good. So now the last thing to do is to make a new central outer body panel piece for the hood. And I don't think I need to change the design of this as such. I think the size and the shape and all the tabs, etc. that I've added on are okay. Oh, I might add one more tab just in the middle perhaps. So I'll do that. But otherwise I think this is basically good to go straight from my plans. The only other thing I might do is, because I want to make this the Z-Tune version of the hood, which has the big vent or opening in the middle of the bonnet here. So I might work out exactly where that's going to go, and maybe add some slots for kind of building that big vent section on the top there. So I'll work out where those slots should be, cut those into the new version, and yeah, I can get that on and we should be good to go. Awesome, nailed it this time. That looks way better than the previous version. Yeah, very cool. And it was kind of easier to fit as well. So, you know, like I wasn't trying to push the board into kind of funny contours and stuff that it didn't really want to go into. So yeah, just laid on really, really well, looks good. Remember, of course, there'll be another layer of outer Bayside blue panels that goes over the top of this that will cover all the tabs, etc. So you won't see the tabs. And the outside of the front fender will attach to those tabs there, so they won't be seen. But yeah, in terms of the structure, that's looking really good now. And I worked out in my plans file where the Z-Tune vent should be, and I've incorporated some slots into the top of this center section of the outer body panel here, so that I can attach the vent kind of structure onto that. So that's the next thing to do, work out the shape of that vent structure, and I can get that fitted as well, or at least a first cut of it. And to make the parts for the Z-Tune hood vent, I'll probably just use a combination of like paper prototyping and referencing my plans file and images of the real car. So let's get stuck into that now. All right, awesome. So yeah, that's looking really good. I didn't show it on camera, but I did do one more version of this hood vent part with some tabs built into it so that I could push it into the slots that I'd made in the cover of the hood. And so that secures it nicely in place. Yeah, there's a few like very, very minor kind of fitment tweaks that I'll make to that part before I cut the next version. But yeah, on the whole, the shape and the size and the form of it and the position all look really, really good. So yeah, awesome, good progress. All right, so the next thing to do is make an alteration to this windscreen surround part so that this bottom line here is correct. You can see that what I've done is just grab my pencil and kind of run it around, resting it on the top of the hood to make that line perfectly in line with the edge of the hood here. So now I need to take this piece back off. It's just resting here. I'll scan it, redraw that line in my plans file to be correct, and recut a new version of this part so that this lower line of that windscreen surround is correct. So I'll do that. So that's got that sort of windscreen surround area looking much better, and this line around the bottom in particular looks much more accurate, much nicer now, much better than the previous version. So yeah, really happy with that. Awesome. That's good progress. That's all I've got time for on this video. Next week I'm actually busy with work, so I might not make too much progress on the build, unfortunately, but I'll try and do a bit of an update video next weekend, and then after that we'll be getting straight back into it. So yeah, what I'd quite like to do in the next one is kind of make a bit more progress on this side window with a steel strip, C-pillar, B-pillar, finishing panel area. So yeah, be good to get that sorted out and done. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one, and yeah, take care.